Hey everyone, it's Robin, RS Island Crafts, and welcome to my studio. So when I showed you the little room tour of the containers and the shelves behind me on my Whip It Wednesday, I said I'd show you the special books that I keep on the shelf. Now I have other patterns. I have magazines that I've saved and different books and stuff. They're in the fabric room, but in this room, these are my special books that I want to reach for and make projects out of. Some of them I've purchased myself, and some you guys have been very generous and sent to me off of my Amazon wish list. These two books are from Amanda Jean Nyberg. She is Crazy Mom Quilts, and she's like, I don't want to say like an idol, but when I'm looking for something, her blog is one of the one I go to. She doesn't blog anymore, but she is still on Instagram, and she doesn't post regularly because she had younger children that are probably older now, teenagers or something, but she just doesn't have time for social media. You know how much of a drain that can be. But she does scrappy projects, but she does it in a way that is just, the fabric's just all, because she buys what she likes and all of the fabrics go together, that she just has such really pretty projects. She's the one that I learned how to do the ticker tape quilt. That's what this is. I have made a few of these and I just love them, and I probably should make some more. They're just fun. But you see how all of her fabrics tend to have the same like color or feel to them. And there's just a lot of fun projects in here. When you see all of her fun fabrics and the different colors. And when I think of her, I do think of fun and I think of colorful, and her fabric colors are very similar to what I like. They're really like Crayola colors and stuff. So she has a lot of different ones, and she shows you how to use her scraps. And what she does is, let's just say 2022. She'll make all of her quilts this year, and then in January of 2023, she'll take all of those scraps and leftovers from those quilts, and she'll make those bonus quilts. So while she may have planned ones, and there might be very specific for projects, and they could be, they could be like a whole bunch of stars or whatever block she's working on, at the end of the year, she takes all of those scraps and sews them into one or two more quilts, usually one big one. And then she's done with those scraps. They're not in her area. She doesn't have little scrap bins like I do. She uses up everything she has. This is her other one, No Scrap Left Behind. I just have the Missouri Star, Jenny's Easy Carpenter Star. This is something I want to make, so I have it still stuck. I just put it in the book so I wouldn't lose it. But she shows us this one, there's smaller projects, what to do with the littlest pieces, and what to do with just random stuff. As you can see, this one is, she sells by the seashore. She sews her scraps together in strips. I use the calculator paper because I can't keep mine all nice and neat like she does. So you can just see there is just so much fun. All the half square triangles that she just takes everything, as I said, and puts it together, and she doesn't have any waste at the start of the next year. So she can go ahead and start cutting into her yardage and start new projects and don't have any of that guilty feeling of all of those scraps that are no scrap left behind. Crumb quilts. I've made a few things from this book. I haven't made anything from this book yet. I do like to just pull them out and look at them. I asked a question on Instagram once, do you flip through your magazines and your books from front to back or back to front? And I always do mine back to front, and I always wondered if it was like a left-handed thing, because I've done so many things ambidextrous growing up, and it seems like most of the people that do this are left-handed. So I thought that was a really interesting thing to see. But there are a variety of things in here so that you can use up your little crumb blocks and different things to make with them. Night sky, that's if you have a lot of that might be good for me with all of my blues and stuff to make something like that. I don't make very many quilts, but I would be interested into making smaller things or using a project like this. That would be a fun tote bag. Oh, that one's by Emily Bailey. This one is a Lori Holt book. Many of you are very familiar with her. So this is one of her row by rows that I've had my eye on. There's another one. It's a Christmas one that's on my wish list that I really like. And this is great because it's a spiral book that lays flat. So as you're working through it, you can go ahead and do your rows and have it nice and flat and work on everything. And it's still a great use of scraps. You don't have to buy a bunch of fat quarters or yardage, but you could if you wanted to. So you get all of the things you need. I'm not going to try to say that, but these are Patchwork Please colorful Zaka projects to stitch and give. So I thought this was fun because it had the different words on it and it had some fun designs and different ways to use your scraps. Now sometimes I'm only interested in one or two projects, but a lot of times if I'm going to put a book like this on my list of my wish list, there's generally more than one thing in there that piques my interest that I'd be willing to make. Books can be a little bit expensive compared to, well, even magazines are expensive nowadays. Well, they've always been expensive. So I want to make sure I'm going to make a couple projects out of it if I'm going to get a book or a magazine. So this is the Modern Salvage Quilting by, I don't want to pronounce anyone's name wrong, so I'll just show it to you. But you guys know my love of salvages. There is some really fun things in here that I'm quite interested in working on very soon. Some ideas in here that can be used on tote bags. So you can make something and make a wall hanging. I really love how this has got the gray background. So it gives it that kind of a chalkboard colored pencil type look. But I really like this, so I thought these would be fun on a tote bag, for the back of a tote bag. So there's Which Way to the Fabric Store quilt. So I thought those are really fun, and they have a variety of things. And you can also, even if you don't want to use salvages, you can easily make that quilt with solid fabrics. You don't have to use salvages. So just because you have a book that's for salvages or string blocks or scraps, that doesn't mean you have to only use it that way. Someone might ask, do I have a favorite? Oh, that would be hard. I only have 6 books here. I think I would put these 2 towards the bottom of the favorites, and these 4 would be fighting for the top. And I think my favorite is whichever one I'm using at the time. Whichever one I'm actually working on projects out of, that's going to be my favorite. But I keep all of these on my shelf just to have something to look at and to pull out. I can work on the projects, or at the end of the day, maybe I just need to look at a little bit of color. Maybe I just need to see, instead of like flipping through Instagram, I want to look at someone else's things. And just because I flipped through this and I went page by page one day, maybe the next day I'm going to look at this and instead of seeing flowers, I'm going to see fish, and it's going to give me an idea to make something fun like an under the sea project. You can always make a fun pincushion. So your scrappy word for this video will be, we'll make it really simple and we'll just use the word scrap. Thank you guys for always hanging out with me. I hope you are enjoying these extra videos you get during the week. Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're long and rambly, but you just never really know what you're going to get. Why? Because I never really know what I'm going to record. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.